Hi, and welcome to Coal Mountain Tech's instructional video on a Helo 3. It's our 3-season tent that's highly modular. You can adapt this tent to just about any environment. It's made of 15D nylon and has a 4,500 millimeter waterproof rating, so you're going to stay dry and you're not going to carry much weight with this tent. Let's go ahead and get into the setup. So your tent comes in one larger bag that has two smaller bags on the inside of it. I did that so you could split up the weight between you and your partner. So pull the two smaller bags out of the larger bag and set them out on the ground. Pull the stake bag out as well and get some of the stakes out. So I'll empty out some of the stakes here. I'll throw a couple of stakes down at this end because I'm going to set the tent up this way. Put a couple of stakes down at that end, one out here in the front, one in the back. And then I'll put the other two in my pocket. Take care of the bags so they don't get blown away when you do this. The first thing we're gonna do is open up one of the sacks and find out what it is in here. This happens to be the bug bivvy. So we're gonna set up the bug bivvy first. Each of these individual parts of this tent can be set up with one mountain stick. In other words, you can set up the bug bivvy with one mountain stick, you can set up the ultralight fly with one mountain stick, or you can set them both up together with just one mountain stick. So we're gonna start out with the bug bivvy. The first thing I'm gonna do is make some room for the tent, is I'm gonna find out which is front and back. To do that, it's simple. This sleeve right here is the back. So I'm gonna set it over here, and this is the front because it has a looped apex that you put the mountain stick through. So it looks like I'm picking up a few weeds. We'll get rid of these things. We'll set this out, and I'm going to pull up the apex. You can tell it's the front apex because it has the little loop that you loop the mountain stick with. And I've already put the guy lines in the ABS tensioner to save time in video. It's a good idea to go ahead and do this right off the bat. Take out your guy line and measure it out about 4 to 5 feet, and then run it through the ABS tensioner. You can start out at either end, but I like starting at the back. So I'll go ahead and grab the tent, grab each corner, and stake it out. Do the same thing on this side, stake it out. So it's fairly taut. Go up to the front, and I'll stake it out as well. So it's doing a rectangular shape. When you put the stakes in at the corner, set the stake so it's at a 45-degree angle from this point here. So you want the tent to be tensioned this direction. So here's the line that lines up with the back part of the tent. Here's the line that lines up with the front part of the tent. Put it right at 45 degrees, you'll get a better result. If the ground is rocky, just tap it in like you would any other stake. Okay, now let's just take apart the mountain sticks. Pretty simple, right? You just unscrew the D-ring. By the way, this D-ring is the same D-ring that'll go in any kind of camera equipment. We had some redundancy built into this just in case you lost something or needed something while you were out there. Just a tip and trick, I'll take the KVA foam out of this and actually put a spare 1/4 20 threaded D-ring inside this in case for some reason you lose this. I would do that. It's inexpensive and it's easy to find at any camera shop. You can remove the mountain stick by tipping it up like this, or kind of a fun way to do it is piston it up and out. Pull it out, take the smaller of the two, the skinniest one, open it up a little bit and then tension it. Now I'm going to show you a problem I'm almost guaranteed you're going to run into. Is if you unscrew this too much, like this, disconnect the barrel to the cone. The outside barrel, this yellow part, has to touch something for this to suck in. See how that's sucking that blue cone in and expanding the yellow barrel? Well, if you unscrew this the wrong way, now it's so small, it's just gonna spin within the lumina of the pole. So you pull it all the way out, tighten it up a little bit, until it fits into here, kind of snug, and we'll tighten up. Now it's tightening up fine. So extend it, tighten it, and I'll set it down to this end. Loosen up the next size pole and you're gonna actually stick it in the mountain stick loose. And make sure that this barrel's loose here, the clamp's loose. Loop the front apex like this. Just stick it right over the top of it. Extend the poles down into the cups. You can do it from a distance, but it's easier to just put your finger in it. Put that pole in there like that, tension it, and then screw it in until it tightens, and then it'll lock up into place. So I'll put my finger in the cup like this just to open it up a little bit, and then stick the tip of that pole into the cup, tension the bug bivvy so it's nice and tight, and then lock it up. Once it's tight, grab the guy line, bring it up so it's perpendicular this way, and then just stake it out, however you want to stake it out. Like that. Grab your ABS tensioner, pull it tight so that this is straight up and down. Go to the back of the tent, and let's do it. Grab this small pole. I'm gonna take this sleeve and I'm gonna slip it over the top of the threaded tip. So open up the sleeve, just stick it in there like that. Bring the tent up, pull it out a little bit, and then what you're gonna wanna do is now tension this other pole, nice and tight. Next, just take a stake and stake out the guy line like this. Now we got that. Tension a little bit. I like to bring this back so it's good and tensioned. And then we'll tension the front so it's not sagging anyway. Now your bug bivvy is set. So you can use it just like this. You could put a tarp over it if you want. We'll show that later. Or you can now move to a different setup. We're gonna now go to the alpine setup. This would be my desert setup. So let's move to the alpine setup. That's where we're gonna combine both of these. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up the alpine setup now. This is a little counterintuitive, so follow along with me. Everything goes upside down to begin with, till you figure it out. The first time you set this up, if you're a guy that's always, or gal that's always gonna go like at a high alpine setting, once you set this up, you don't have to take it apart again, unless you wanna go to a different setting like the desert. So the first thing you do is just shake it out so you can get a feel for what's going on. At each apex, well, one of these apices is a red tape. This identifies the front or the apex of the ultralight fly. This is the moment you want to decide, now where do I want my front to be? We're going to go this side. So lay it out. Just lay it out upside down, like so. While we've got this out upside down, I just want to show you a couple of items. The top part of this has two different hooks. This is an ABS tensioner that will actually attach to the bug bivvy to lift the spine of the tent to match this spine. This is something that you can use if you're just using the ultralight fly alone. It's just a utility hook that you can put stuff off if you want, hang your socks or whatever. Same with this. Both of those are just utility hooks and loops. Now that we know where the front of the tent is, we take the bug bivvy, we go to the front apex of the bug bivvy, which has a small red loop as well. Here's your loop that hooks through the buckle. That way you know what the front of the tent is. Next, you want to connect the apex of the bug bivvy with the apex of the ultralight fly. This is simple. Just put this loop through the hook, just like that. Tension this all the way. We want this distance between these two really small. So make this as tight as you can get it. So we're gonna now connect the corners of this tent. Here is another buckle. Here is a loop for the buckle, right here at the corner of the tent. We actually won't utilize these when we set up the alpine setup. You could put the buckle through this loop if you want, if it's easier for you, or something you want to separate the two quickly so you can open it up and air things out.
it's pretty easy just to use the loop. So I'll go ahead and just put this hook through the loop and tension this to about 2.5 to 3 inches to start with, right there. We do all 4 corners the same way. And you put this buckle through and clip it through this small loop. Again, you can use this one if you want. Put it through that loop and then just make sure that it's about 3 inches or so. So just tension it a little bit. Probably a little too much. Come back some. And what this is going to do is this is going to connect the corner of this tent to the corner of the ultralight fly and make them one corner. So we're going to want to make sure that it kind of sets even underneath the ultralight fly. Remember, you're only going to have to do this once. Once this distance is known, your setup will be faster. Now let's turn the tent over, the whole thing. All you do is just pull it out, throw it out like that, and let's stake out the corners so we can get an idea where we want the tent to sit. If you want to know where the front of the tent is, again, you can look at, you can look at this tape on the inside of this. You can see this red tape through there, and you know that the back end of the tent, because it has the logo, our logo is here on the back end of the tent. So I'm just gonna now stake out the corners like I did the bug bivy alone, and now they're connected. And so I just grab the ultralight fly, find its red loop like this. Don't confuse these 2 red loops. This is the one you want to tension it. So just take this out, stick it in the ground, find a nice place to put it, like so. Let's go to the other side. Pull it tight, stake it out. I'm gonna go to this corner, do the same thing. You'll set it in. Go back to this corner, and then we'll have it staked out. It's an alpine setup, so you're probably wondering, well, what if you can't stake it out? Well, then you're gonna have to use rocks, tie a guy line to the rock and pull it out. And then stack rocks on top of that, just like you would any other tent to keep it from blowing away in the wind. Let's go ahead and put in the rear pole first. You can do either one, it doesn't really matter. But there is a little trick to putting the rear pole in. Make sure you unzip the vestibule in the back. That's your storage vestibule in the back. So you can actually see this, and you can see the apex where the tent pole's gonna sit. Now we're ready for the poles, so let's just go through that process again. I'm going to do my little piston thing. Pull this out, loosen this one up, bring it out just 1 turn back, and I can move it, maybe a turn and a half. But don't go a whole bunch or you'll be back to doing the barrel fix. I'll put that one down there. I'll go ahead and open this up, make sure this is loose, make sure this is loose. Slip 1 pole into the apex, or for the apex of the tent over here. So let's come over here and stick it in here. Same process as setting up the bug bivy. Just loop this into here. Make sure that this point of the tent fits right into that apex. Bring it up. Extend this so that it's tight. And then you're going to tension this up so it's good and tight. If you want to use the Velcro to tighten it too, that's fine too. Bring this over the top. And this is important. You see this loop? It has to go over the tip of the pole that's in its own sleeve and the apex of the rear of the tent, just like that. That's important. Then I just stake it out. And you can zip this down now.
Nope.
Remember, this is where you can put your boots, you can put your cooking stuff to keep it out of the rain. You can put one of your packs back here. The utility of this is whatever you want it to be. Pull it out and then stake it out. You can use this stake, could stake out on this one too if you just want to use one stake. Okay, let's go to the front. Here's your utility loop right here. You just slip it right over the top. Just put it right over the top of the mountain stick. Extend the pole out. Find the little cup right down here and stick the tip of the pole into the little cup, just like that. Extend it till it's taut and tighten it. Do the same thing on this side. You're gonna put your finger in a little pocket right here. Extend this pole and put it right into that little cup, just like that. Let's see, get my finger in it. It's easier when they're brand new to get your finger in it till they stretch out a little bit. Just like that. Extend this up till it's good and tight. Lock the barrel. Now that we've got this hooked into the apex of the tent, it's good in tension. Go ahead and stake out the guy line out here, like so. Push it into the ground. Sometimes you got to wiggle it through the rocks, as you know. And then I'll take this and tension this so that spine is nice and taut. Take another stake and bring out the front vestibule. Now you can access the tent either from the sides or in the front. So if it's raining like crazy and you don't have a tarp, unzip this and access your tent from this side. If you open it up on this side, you may get water onto your sleeping bag. This way you won't. Go ahead and loop both of the red ropes, bring it out, and then tension it out. I like to go around and check to make sure that everything's taut. This stake needs to be angled right about here and tapped in there. So that this is straight. Now we've got this nice triangle shape to it. The rest of this, we just stake these out into the front here. Like that, we'd stake it out. We do the same thing on the back. Let's talk tips and tricks. So if you'll take the two red loops and stake this out, let me show you how we want to stack them. I stack the front on top of the back, like this, and then stake them into the ground. Okay, now that they're staked, you can see I can lift this off of here, open up the tent like this, and it still keeps that back covered. Otherwise, you got to switch them because the one that's on top is the one that will open up the easiest. Let's say you got a really hot day. You just want to get some shade. You can open up both sides, front or this side and the other side the same way, and air will just move through. So let's say that it's raining. You don't want to get wet, but you kind of are worried about condensation in the front of the tent. Let me show you what you do. And you can bring this back, open it up. And then do the same thing on the other side, and or leave this out depending on what you want. That will get you a large amount of airflow moving this direction so you won't condense on the inside, but yet you'll stay dry. Let's say that it's raining. Here's another tip and trick. It's raining, you don't want to open this up. You want to access the tent from this side. All you do is loosen this completely, take this out to about here, just down from the apex a little bit, so when it's raining, it'll drain off. Unzip the front of the bug bivvy and just climb in. So you unzip the front of the bug bivvy on both sides. Now you can access the inside of the tent. Okay, so this is our Alpine setup. These are waterproof zippers. I suggest you run a little waterproofing. We like to use a seam seal plus SIL silicone because this is a silicone impregnated fabric. And then you'll just, wherever the stitch is, put a little bit of that on there to make sure it's watertight for you. The very back of the vestibule, you can open it up the same way you do in the front and put your gear, store some stuff that you don't need ready access to. I usually will put my pack in the front because I can unzip the bug bivvy and I can get access to all my gear, and it just seems to flow better that way. Okay, now let's move on to just the ultralight fly. So to save some time, I've taken the mountain stick out. I've gone ahead and removed all the stakes, and we're gonna change this now out to a late fall ultralight shelter for hunting, or even if you don't mind sleeping on the ground and not worried about bugs, this is awesome. Now you got your shelter down to 1.5 pounds. So to make this happen, you just turn this thing back over again, just like we did before. Try not to get tangled up in your guy lines. And undo the buckles and out. Take this, tuck it away in its bag, and I'll just stuff it right back in the bag. I don't roll them up or fold them. If you want to, that's fine, but I don't. It prevents creasing in the same spot all the time. And now let's set this up. So let's start out by flipping it over and staking out the corners. So I'm gonna take this and flip it over, just like that. We already know where the rear is because we just set it up. But again, look at the logo, you know that's the rear. So I'll grab a stake, put that in the ground like that. Grab the 4 more stakes for the corners. I'll come around to this side, find this corner. I'll stake it out a little bit loose. I'm going to tap it in because this section of the ground's pretty rocky. We're going to do the same thing back here. So get it set up like this, same thing on each corner. Okay. Let's start out by taking, again, the poles out of the mountain stick. I put them back in just for fun. I throw these to the front because I know that's where they're going to be used. Open this up, extend it, lock it, unzip this so I can see what I'm doing. Then I'll go ahead and stretch that up a little. Make sure that this goes right over the top of the apex, just like that. Zip this out, put this back up. I'm kind of feeling my way in the dirt here a little bit. I'm gonna have to have a rock again because it's rocky. Help me tap that into place. It's not gonna go there, we'll put it right there. Okay, now we're gonna move to the front. Take the mountain stick, make sure that this is freely movable and that this is freely movable. Go ahead and thread it in together. Come to the apex, right here. Same type of situation. We're gonna loop it over the top just like we've done before. Exactly the same. Once it's set up, I'll go ahead and grab the corner pockets. Put my finger in here just to help it open that up a little bit, facilitate the entry of that. Stretch it out, lock it. Go to the other side. Stick it in this little cup again. Stretch it out. And tighten it up. If it twists around the bottom of this, just hold it while you're tightening it. Let's stake out the front vestibule. Just like that. Now you do some fine adjustments to it. You can see that this is kind of saggy, so we're going to fix that. This looks like it needs to come up a little bit. So I just come into this, make sure this pole is fully tightened, and then lock the barrel nut. Come back down again. Pull this tight. And I'm just gonna, for fun, just use this same stake that I have. It's sometimes necessary that you just use the same one. Say you break a stake or something weird happens, you can always just use one on this side. And now we just stake out the sides like we did before, exactly the same way. I like the top of it to be the front of the tent. So you can stake this out. I'm checking my distances here, so it has a nice look to it. And you can see that in the back, I've got to move that corner. So I'm in a bit of some rocky soil here. So I got to kind of work the right spot. And I think that's it, but I'm going to grab this rock real quick and just tap it in. Now you might ask, well, what if you have a big rock right where you need this to be? Just grab a rock, put a guy line on it, and tie it out. It's pretty simple. Well, this corner's a little funny, so we're going to bring this back out so it looks nice. See if we can't just tap it. And that looks pretty good. Readjust this for our final positioning of the tent. Make sure that's good and tight right there. And that looks pretty good to me. I may bring this out just a little bit more. You know, tighten it out like this on the stake. And we're golden. You can access the back, you can access the sides or the front, but I just want to show you how big it is on the inside. This is the really cool part, is you're going to go and look in there, and there is a ton of room for you to be. You could probably fit 3 people in there in a pinch, but you really have a lot of room. And at 1.5 pounds, it makes things pretty good. So here's our setup. Takedown is simple. Now, what if, another little tip and trick here, what if you decide that you need your mountain stick for a hike? Well, no problem. All you do, if you need the full mountain stick with your tripod and everything, if you're going to film, you just take it out. Few seconds, you're done. Drops. Just take this, loosen this up so that goes down. This goes down. Your bags and stuff will all be inside it. Take this out, put it back in. Do the same thing underneath here. Now you have your full tripod. If you don't need your full tripod, well, then just leave it in there. Be sure and tighten these up before you put them back in. You don't want them slopping around inside. And now you've got your trekking pole. I'll take these lines right here, and then I'll just tie them out real good over here. Same thing on this side. That way, if the wind comes up or it starts to rain on you, all your stuff's safe. So you can see the versatility of this. Coming in at 1.5 pounds, sub 3 pounds for the whole alpine setup, and another pound or so for the bug bivvy for desert travel. It's hard to beat this versatility. If you have any questions, just contact us on the website via email. We're happy to help out. Thanks for watching.